lightning, throw thunder in jail. That's bad. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick.
Agit Kabayel calls out Anthony Joshua, and this is what he had to say. Kabayel says, hey, AJ, skip Jake Paul, fight me instead. Would AJ survive a Kabayel's pressure in the engine? Unbeaten, the WBC interim heavyweight champion, Agit Kabayel, isn't impressed with the talk of AJ versus Jake Paul, calling it another one of today's funny fights, he calls it. Kabayel says that Joshua should skip the circus and take a real heavyweight fight with real stakes, an interim world title, and a direct path back to becoming a three-time champion. He says AJ can fight me instead, but the fans want to see the funny fights. I don't know why. Those are the words of Agit Kabayel. And let me counterpunch. You should see these type of responses, especially from real fighters, you know, and I want you guys to know how I feel about AJ versus Jake Paul. I don't like it, because if I can talk about Floyd, why I didn't like Floyd fighting Conor instead of fighting Keith Thurman and fighting Edis Ladilata or fighting someone known in the rankings at the time in his weight class, I have to address him the same way, right? Because there's a lot of guys that he could fight. There is a difference, though. AJ's got his ass whooped a few times. Floyd didn't. You know, so Floyd had a pretty much mindset that, hey, I can do whatever I want to do. You know, and there you go. But AJ is a top fighter, and it would make more sense, and people would take him more seriously if he did take on tough guys. Zane, Kabayel, even Ajagba, Frank Sanchez. These guys, a rematch with Dubois, you know, which may happen, right? But nonetheless, yeah, if I was Agit Kabayel, I would feel the same way. However, let me counterpunch Agit Kabayel. Agit Kabayel is called out a lot of people lately. He's called out Danny Dubois. He's called out Martin McCauley. He's been calling out a lot of fighters. But remember, he has a fight in January on the 10th, a homecoming fight, but it's against a fighter that has never been beaten. 17-0 with 11 KOs, okay? That's what he has in front of him. And if I was Agit Kabayel, if I was smart, I would be focusing on that. Because it's like, what are you going to do? You're telling AJ to skip Jake Paul and fight me instead. Well, how is he going to skip Jake Paul to fight you when you already have a scheduled fight? It doesn't make sense. So you actually got to be fair about the whole deal. Because Damian Kimba is 17-0 with 11 KOs. And he is a guy that he should be paying attention to. Because what I noticed about all these guys with all these big dreams and ambitions is they tend to take their eye off the ball, the clear and present danger of the people that could beat them, the person that you're fighting. Look, Agit Kabayel can call out the whole world of fighters. You have to keep your mind on the ball. You got to keep your eyes on the ball. You know, because it would be the guy that you don't pay attention to would be the guy that either gives you a lot of problems that you didn't anticipate because you underestimated him, or he beat you. Right? So I think if anything at all, you know, he needs to worry about his own damn fight. And stop worrying about what AJ's doing, because AJ, again, he ain't been in the ring all year long, and you ain't said pretty much anything about Anthony Joshua. Now that you find out he's fighting Jake Paul, it's like, well, hey, fight me. Well, you could have been calling AJ out the whole time. You see what I mean? So to me, I just think a lot of fighters see these type of fights and they get angry because they also know these funny fights also have some very serious money. And there ain't nothing funny about that money. Okay, so I know they know that. And I know they're like, well, hey, man, I don't like him doing that. But at the same time, would you do it if Jake Paul called you? That's the question you ask yourself. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. It's easy. It's simple. But no, I get Kabayel. I do agree with him. It is a funny fight. I would love to see Agit Kabayel get the opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua. However, he has his own fight. So if I was him, I would focus on wisdom. I would focus on what other fighters would do to prepare mentally. Because I think he's doing everything physically. And physically, Agit Kabayel is looking massive, bro. He is looking very good. He's trimmed down a bit. He looks in hellified shape. However, worrying about some other fight won't help you in the fight that you're going to fight. Counterpunch. So that's what Agit Kabayel should do. You guys tell me what you think of his comments towards Anthony Joshua and him calling out Joshua. Fight me instead, says Agit Kabayel. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.